3. Okay, so I want to believe some other people will just join. Last week we had about 7 people on the call, so just want to make sure that we have not left anybody behind. Okay, so today we'll just be doing just a very very quick session, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, what I was trying to do is with this session of solving daily challenges with Python, there are, in quote, 2 ways you can deliver your Python application. You can either deliver your Python application for mobile, in which case you have to build it for Android or whatever. And then you can also deliver your Python application by Windows. So one of the things that I have learned, and I learned that from Tom, is that usually you would want to build solutions that automate something. So for example, you probably want maybe to automate, maybe you send a lot of emails, want to automate the process, or you send a lot of stuff. Now, if you're doing that and you write the code by yourself, like what you see on the screen, and whenever it's time you run it, it's fine. But if you want somebody who is not like that doesn't even understand coding to be able to still run that solution, maybe when you're on leave or something, you have to pack it into a UI, and that's why we started talking about Tkinter and Kiwi, which will start from next week most likely, because I want to run away from Tkinter. That's why I'm trying to finish this. Kiwi is actually like my favorite because not like it's easier, but because you can build Android applications on it, because the world is going mobile right now. So right now you need to be able to create solutions that can run everywhere, desktop, mobile, everywhere. All right, so that's it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to, let me just run this app so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the app looks like. Don't mind the app, it's quite like an ugly app. So, but you would see that it looks like your regular, I'm just trying to make it look like the regular app that has a menu bar where you see various menus that you can, you can drop down and click on. And there is an edit bar. Okay, so sorry, I just need to send someone a link. Someone wants to join the class, so I need to send a link to the person. Just a second. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do then, so that when this is like supposed to be a taskbar. Instead of this print, now I'm supposed to have like a print icon here, and this print icon, when I click on it, when I click on this print icon, it will bring out a print dialog box, and then I would put in the preview and all of that I want to, put in, just like a regular, any application is Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, anything. Okay, so just a second. Let me just get this link out and all right, so here we are. Okay, so if you just give me a second, I will okay, so just give me a second. Let me get things set, just a second. Okay, so sorry, I had to step out to attend to something very briefly, but we're back. So let's roll. Let me put all of this on silent so that we don't have any other distractions, and we'll kick off. So I'm going to, as usual, start up a new project, and then I'm going to call this, okay, let's just call this integrated inventory app.py. Since it's a Python file and I'm using it in Visual Studio. Okay, so once I do that, Visual Studio creates me a Python file. And who can tell me the first thing we do when we want to create an app on Tkinter? What's the first thing we do?
We import Tkinter.
Lovely. In fact, maybe you guys should be guiding me on it. When we now get to the new parts of what we want to do, then I can now take the lead. So I'll import, sorry, I closing this so that it doesn't constitute. So import Tkinter as TK, all right? And then we'll create our main window. Now, some people like to call this the root window, but I like to call it win, all right, which is a main window, which is equal to tk.tk to instantiate the tk class, and then win.main loop to create some form of persistence so that the app is always in front of us when we run. Now, I'm going to, as usual, put the title of my window here. So win.title, and I'm going to call this integrated MLAI inventory manager. All right, so just pretend that's the name of the app. And I'm going to click run. So when I click on run, yeah, so we'll have our bare app, just bare. Okay, so nothing at all. So the first thing we want to do now is we want to create, remember I told you this time we want to create menus in the app, all right? So let's just pretend that we're creating the whole app. First, we're creating the menu, then we're creating the toolbar where you see all those tools, prints, add to folder, all of that. Then when we click on file, something new happens. There's a drop down, etc. When we click on edit, stuff like that. So let's just start with, and there's one bad habit I have had so far in this class, and I want to correct it. So I want to start correcting it now. Like anytime I'm doing something, I would put a comment so that everyone will know what it is that I'm doing when you look at the code much later. All right, so here I'm going to say create main window, right? So that everyone knows that that's what I'm trying to achieve here. Then the next thing that I'm going to do right now is to create the menu bar. So I'm just going to put that here again, create the menu bar. And as usual, when you want to create something in Tkinter, Tkinter makes everything very easy. That's why it's like the first choice of many people when you want to build an application, a simple application. So I'm just going to call this thing my menu bar, all right? And you guessed it right. My menu bar is going to be an instance of the class menu. CK menu, or I could just let them say menu. Okay. Okay, so Visual Studio is doing this because I did not use auto imports. But in other words, I could just do this from Tkinter imports menu. All right, so that now when I type menu here, great, it allows me to do this. So yeah. Okay. So so as usual, when you have a menu, you want to create a menu bar, the menu must have a master. That's one of the first things. Any new widget you're creating, whether it's whether it's a menu, a frame, a button, a check button, or whatever widget it is you're creating, you must have a master that widget is hooked to. So in this case, this menu bar is going to be hooked to Win as the master, all right? And that'll be it. So with that, we've created our menu bar. And then the next thing we can now do is to tell Python that this menu bar we have created, this menu bar we have created is actually going to go and occupy the top position, all right? So we do that by just putting this menu equal to menu bar. So with that, we are telling Python that, hey, whatever it is that we address with as menu bar and all of that should be what you use as menu. So that's basically what we have done here. Okay, so the next thing that we should do is to now begin to create the menu. So let's begin with the file menu. So create a file menu. And the first thing you do again in object-oriented programming is to instantiate this object. So the file menu will be a menu, all right? And this time, what Python is asking us for again is the master, all right? But this time, the master is not going to be Win, because Win is like the mother, the main window. Because we have already hooked our menu bar here to Win, what it means is that we will now hook this, all right, to the menu bar that we have created as the instance and informed Python that this is going to be our menu bar. So what we are going to have here now would be menu equals menu bar here. That's it. That's what we'll have here. So that's all we'll have as the Win or as the master of the file menu. Now we begin to do the other things. So we have now informed Python that we have a file menu that is hooked to our menu bar. So the next thing we want to do is to tell Python that we want that thing to cascade. So what we will now do is we will now tell Python to add a cascade on that our menu bar. A cascade is something like this. When I click on this, this is a cascade. 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 So I'm trying to tell Python now, give me a cascade. All right, this is what we are doing now. On the menu bar, create a cascade. Okay, so this cascade, what will be you can see it's not asking us for master this time. The first thing is asking us for things like the name and all of that. All right, so if you look here, you see label. This label is what you use like the name of that cascade. So label would be equal to, and because that's our first menu, let's call it file menu. So let's call it file, all right? And what it would be, all right, what it should be hooked to, which is the menu that it is tied to, that cascade is tied to, would be file menu. So we have a file cascade right now, which is tied to this file menu we have created, which is an instance of menu that we have hooked to the menu bar that we've created. All right. So with this, we've created the file menu. Now we should now start adding the things that would make up the file menu. So let's look at this file menu. Here we have things like new file, new window, open file. Okay, so let's add all of this. So let's have file menu, since we have now made it our our target menu. So file menu dot add command. All right. And the first is going to ask us for is the label. So what is the label of that command? The label of the first command we're using is new project. So let's just put in new projects. Okay. We'll come back to this shortly. Let's add another command. So file menu dot add command. Let's call that one, let me see, new window. Okay, so let's label equal to new window. And let's add one more command. Okay, open file. So file menu dot add command. Let this be label be equal to open file. All right. And I think that's enough. Then let's have one more for exits. Okay, so file menu dot add command, and let that label be equal to exits. All right, so let's run this and let's see what the app will look like. All right, so we have our app here. Just going to drag it to the middle and then expand it a bit. So when I click on file, you'll see new project, new window, open file, exits. All right. Now, I want this exit to be separate from this. For example, if you look at this, you'll notice that exits is separated with a divider, like a dividing line. Okay, like it's called a separator. So in between the open file menu and this one, which is the last command, I'm just going to say file menu dot add, dot add separator. Okay, now leave it blank. I'm not going to add any, no names and all of that in the separator, just blank. So when I do this and I run it now, okay, let me close this so that I can run it. All right, so in this app, what I have right now, so you can see that a separator now exists between all of this and this one. Okay, so let's create another menu and let's call that the edit menu. All right, so let's create the edit menu. I think we're done with the file menu. Now, I'm going to again create. Please remember that you can stop me at any time. That's why it's a live class. Just stop me at any time and then feel free to ask your questions. Okay, so again, this time I'm going to do the same thing that I did, edit menu, which will be an instance of the menu class. Okay, and the edit menu too is going to be hooked to the menu bar this time, not the win, because I mean, we have already hooked the win to the menu bar. So edit menu is going to be hooked to the menu bar. All right. And then we are now going to tell the menu bar again to add Python, add another cascade to our menu bar. So this cascade right now that you're adding, the label of the cascade is going to be menu, edits, okay? And what else? The menu that is hooked to will be the edits menu. Okay, so now as usual, we will have our edits menu dot add command. Okay, so let's sorry. Let's add one command here, like undo, and then let's add another command. Add command, let's call this copy. And I think that too is just enough for this session. All right. So let's proceed to run this. Let's see what this looks like. So run, and okay, what's this error? Edit menu, undo. String object has no attributes items. Okay, what would be the problem? So add cascade label, edit menu, and edit menu. Okay. Let me comment this out. Let me see where the problem could have been. Let me run it again. Okay, so it runs very well. But then, okay, so let me comment this out. And this one. Oh, I see why, I see why it's giving me the error. Okay, so the error is because I didn't say label equal to. So that's why Python is just protesting label equal to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know you got that. I mean, a very sharp guy, very sharp guy. Okay, so yeah, so here we are. Undo, copy, and all of that. So we're good. We're good with our edit menu. Now let's add a toolbar. Okay, so I'm going to create toolbar. But sadly, Tkinter does not have a toolbar object. So we have to either create it as a frame, or we create the object itself completely from the scratch. The init methods, the everything, all right? Everything. So in fact, actually, that's actually, most people that build apps on Tkinter and Kiwi that I know, one of the paradigms they like to use to build their apps is the object-oriented paradigm. So instead of us coming here to, what that means is instead of us coming here to say, okay, let's create a file menu and all of that, we'll create an edit menu. What they would have done would have been probably to say, okay, let's create a menu class, all right? Put in all the objects, all the attributes of the menu class. So in our menu class, we have the file menu, we have the edit menu, we have all of that. And then they'll put in all the methods, everything just right off the box, so that when they now want to start, positioning it in Python, all they just need to be doing is just the geometry. We set the geometry either using .spark or .grid or whatever they want to use. All right. So for them, it's faster. And really, if you look at it, somehow it's faster, it's more compact, and it's beautiful to look. As in, the code is always very nice. So maybe from next week, we'll start using that paradigm to build whatever it is that we're building. But for now, let's just keep following procedurally so that we just grasp how the whole things work. So now, sadly, like I was saying, Python does not have, the Tkinter library does not have a toolbar class. All right. So we'll have to use the frame class because that's the closest thing that we have. So toolbar will now be a frame class. Okay. And then this frame class, as usual, is asking us for the master. And the master it to be hooked to is win. That's the main window. And then there are other things that we can supply here, background and all of that. So, but let me just use the background. So I'm just going to use background equal to white. I'll just put white here. Okay, so that works. Now, the next thing that we are going to create in the window would be that print button. Okay, so which is the print button that you see on the toolbar. And that print button will be an instance of the button class. And as usual, the button class requires us to supply it a master. So since we want this button to be in the toolbar, we're going to use the toolbar as the master. All right. So toolbar is the master. Then the text. Now you can use texts that will show on the toolbar, or you can use an image like an icon. Okay. So let's use a text for now. Text equal to what should be showing there, print. Okay. And then let's leave the command for now. We'll come back to all those commands. So we've gotten our print button ready. And then, you know, but whenever you create something, you have to tell Python where to put it, because right now, if you run it, you'll notice that Python doesn't know. Oh, sorry, let me close this. If you run it, you'll notice that Python doesn't know where to put this print button. That's why it's not showing. Okay. So what's going to happen is that we are going to tell Python where to put this print button, as usual, by using print button.grid or dot, you know. But in this case, I'm just going to use print button.pack so that Python will put it for us in the best place for us. Again, as we're packing this, the first thing I want to tell Python to pack it is to the left. All right. So just pack it to the left. And then I will also tell Python to just create some padding for me. So the X pad and the Y pad, I will just use 2 and 2. You'll get to see what this padding does shortly. Okay, so with this, I have told Python what I want it to do. And then if I run it like this, you'll still notice that nothing happened. I can't find my print bar. And the reason is this. I have already told Python where to put the prints by telling it to pack. But I haven't told Python where to drop my toolbar. So now I'm going to tell Python where to drop the toolbar. Again, this time I'm just going to use toolbar.pack. Okay, and this, I will also tell Python, pack this toolbar side to the top, and then fill across X. When I say fill X, what I mean is I'm telling Python to fill on the X axis. X axis is horizontal, Y is vertical. So, sorry, when I say fill Y, it does a horizontal, a vertical fill for me. When I say fill X, it does a horizontal fill for me. So, side is top. Sorry, this is supposed to be text. And so when I run this now, you'll notice that, okay, Python says code is already running. Right again. Okay, so now you see that you have seen the prints. Okay, and so our app is beginning to take shape. Like I said, I can always use an icon to do this. All right, so but if you notice, when we click all of this, nothing happens. And the reason is because we have to still tell Python the commands to run. If you remember, when we did this last week, we had to tell Python the command, all the commands to run. when we do stuff. So we're going to create a command that opens a new window, a command that's, or whatever. But you know how to do all of that is very simple. So as you have this file menu here, on that add command, work for new project, you will just write command equal to, and then you map this command to a function that you're going to create somewhere outside the whole app class that you're working on. So like we did last week, you could always check up the video on that. Right now, the only command that I'm going to do is for the prints. Okay. So, and why I'm doing that command for the prints is that I want to just show what it looks like to create a command that brings out another window. So let me come to the print button and put a command there. Okay, so that would be under the print button toolbar. I'll have my command. Sorry, I spelled it bad. Yeah. So let's call that command print preview. Okay. So you'll notice that Python Visual Studio is highlighting to me that I do not have this, existing, and I know. So I'm now going to go and create that print preview. So let me create that function here. So def print preview, and I'll do this. So what do I want to do when I click on print? I want Python to open up a new window for me. All right. And obviously, because if I run this app, if anytime you click on print, a dialog box pops up, and so that dialog box is what I want to create. But for Tkinter, when you're creating an app, whether it's a dialog box or whether anything it is that you want to create, Tkinter actually sees like you're doing a new window because it actually has to jump out of the real window that has all the other things that you're working on. All right. So let's create a new window right now. And to create a new window, you use the Tkinter class called top level, which is this, okay? And then you hook it to win again, because that's like the master you want it to be tied to. It's not like you're creating a window that is on its own, just flying on its own and all that. It's not a parallel window. The master window is the window that holds all the widgets and everything. But when you click on a widget like print, you want it to open up another window while the master window is still there. So that's why we are hooking it to win. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign, and the moment you assign this new window as an instance of this top level class, you can see this top level is a class. What happens is that it inherits all the, we did all of this when we're doing object-oriented programming, inherits all the attributes and the methods. So one of the methods of this top level class is the method title. So we can have this dot title, and it will be equal to, we just call this printer options. All right. And then, yeah, okay. So let's save it and run it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So let me just bring this here, expand it a bit, bring it to the middle, and let's click on print. So you see, when you click on print, what happens is it generates, what do you call it now? This other window, all right, that is tied to this one. So on this new window now that we have generated, we can now begin to add all the things that we want to add. So if you want to add a label, you can just add it here. If you want to add another widget or whatever, all the widgets you want to add, you can add it on this new window to be able to take in whatever it is you want. So everything you find on the print window, the dialog box and all that, you can always add it here. So I actually would have loved to take this class further, but we're starting a special session today, which I hope every one of you will be around. And I need to set up and do all that I need to do for that session. So it means that this session has to end on or before 2:30, so that I can at least have a 30-minute window to do all of that. So if there are any questions, I'll be glad to take it right now. But if there is none, we will also be glad to adjourn the session. But I think there should be questions. Or maybe, I know you guys are good, so I'm just open.
I don't have a question regarding the subject.
Okay.
But when I'm trying to run Tkinter, but I thought you told us that Tkinter comes with Python installed. So, and I've already installed Python. So I'm now thinking that, do I need to download Tkinter before I could be able to run it, because I'm not able to run the script.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your screen?
On phone, so but I can just take a snapshot and send, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because I would want to find out why you can't run Tkinter. It comes native, it ships out of the box.
Name TK is not defined.
It tells you. Okay,
name
how do you?
TK is not defined. When I tried, win equals TK and with the braces.
This one like this.
I mean, I imported Tkinter, yes.
Yes, and then you try to do this.
Yes.
And it tells you that win TK is not defined. Okay, yes. Python what? Python, what are you using?
3.10 is the one I downloaded yesterday.
Okay, 3.10. That's 3.10, yeah? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I have not used Python 3.10, but I know even between Python 3.6 and Python 3.8, if you're using Python 3.6 and you tell me you did that, I would agree, because there are a lot of changes that they made to Python syntax, especially with this Tkinter library.
I was using Ubuntu.
You were actually using?
So I was using Ubuntu till yesterday because my system have an issue. I had to port to Ubuntu. So it's just yesterday I came back, just try to use Windows again. So maybe that's why I need to set. Maybe I need to set the environment to something.
Okay. Try that. Let's see. Yeah. Try that. Let's see how it works.
What do you say?
Okay. But it ships out of the box. You don't need to import anything. I know for Python 3.6, if you wanted to write import Tkinter as TK, it would not allow you. So you'll probably have to do something like this: from Tkinter import star, which means you have to import the whole library.
Everything.
Yeah, the whole library. And then you'll now have something like this again from Tkinter. That's when you want to import all of this. Sometimes you might need to reference this order. It's like another sub-library that has many of these. Okay, you know how we use matplotlib? We have from matplotlib.pyplot import this. If you remember.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's how it works with this one too.
Yes.
So TTK is like a sub-library, uncoded sub-library inside the Tkinter library. That you might not. I don't know how the whole stuff was arranged. The whole modules were arranged inside the original code. I don't know, but I just discovered that If you're using Python 3.6, I think 3.5 too, you would have needed to do something like this: from Tkinter import this, then from Tkinter import TTK, something like that. So that's what I discovered. Right. So, but I think since you're now on Python 3.10, you shouldn't have any issues. But the only thing with having Python 3.10 is that you can run Anaconda, because Anaconda, the latest Anaconda is running on is 3.8, and that's what I'm running on too. You'll see it here on the base part of my screen. Yes, Python 3.8 base Conda. So Anaconda has not really upgraded, because they must wait till Python is stable. And right now, there is still the release was just done, so it's not stable yet. All right, so they will wait until it's stable. All the bugs that have been addressed and all of that, all the bugs that were caught have been addressed and everything before they upgrade. So I want to believe maybe by January, they will shift to 3.9 and then maybe to 3.10 eventually before 2022 ends.
Maybe after class with that, maybe I can even try to install the Python, maybe 3.6 or something. Yeah.
No, why I like Conda is that Conda ships with everything. It ships with...
I'm not using, I didn't download Conda yet, so.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you should download Conda. Okay. Because Anaconda makes you a... Okay, would I use the word it makes you a lazy programmer? Because
yeah, that means it makes life easier.
Yes, it makes life easy for me a lot. And I'm not going to hide for you. I've forgotten how to create virtual environments. Before, when I started with Python, you first have to create virtual environments. Then when you create virtual environments, then you now, because the guy that taught me told me that most times you don't want to like right now, if I want to run if he wants to run any project, he must create a virtual environment. You see this class that we just did now? He must create a virtual environment for this class. And in this virtual environment, he will not have any other, when you tell Python, create VM, that's, I think that's the code, the stuff in the command prompt, VM, forgotten, you can see. When you do that, you are telling Python to just create a blank instance.
Yeah.
Yes, so he will just pick only the library that he wants.
You use
yes, you can.
What do you say?
I say in that, when you're using a virtual environment, all you just need to do is you just pick only the library that you want to use. So he believes that it makes the whole stuff faster. Yeah. So if you create a virtual environment, you just use your Tkinter only. Just pip install Tkinter like right into that place. But you see, with Anaconda, what Anaconda does for me is that I do not have to use manual means to create virtual environments. And that's why I'm opening it now, so that I could show you one of the things that Anaconda does for you.
Virtual environment.
Yes, I do not have to write right now. Okay, so my Anaconda Navigator should be up. And yep, so this is the Anaconda Navigator. Now, you can see this place called environments.
Yes.
Exactly. So if I need to create a new environment right now, I do not need to go through pip and go through the command line. All I need to do is just to come here and click on create. And once I click on create, it's going to create a new environment for me. All right. Then I will just come here, select the package that I want to install in that new environment. So maybe just Tkinter, that's all I need. If I just click on that Tkinter, it's only Tkinter that will install here. So I can just be using this new environment that I just created for Tkinter. This, my base roots, is the environment that has everything. You understand? So, but this one is the one I use for TensorFlow. So it has only TensorFlow library and everything, all right? So anytime I want to run, because some TensorFlow can be very resource heavy. So if you want to do any machine learning stuff on TensorFlow, sometimes you only want to use all the libraries that have dependencies on TensorFlow in one place. So yeah, so that's why I have this second environment for TensorFlow. For every other thing, all my other developments is done in this base root environment. So you can see I'm switching environments without having to write one single line of code, just like that.
Yes.
So that's basically one of the advantages. Then there are a lot of other advantages in the sense that
I want to become easier too.
He said
I will go for Anaconda as well. But I said I want my life to become easier as well. I will go for
yeah, you can see
this
my TensorFlow. These are all the things that have dependencies on TensorFlow that TensorFlow needs to run. So that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anytime I'm developing on TensorFlow, it doesn't have to import all the libraries that are in this base root environment. Just gives me all of that. So that's all. That's it. And when I've just done that, all I need to do when I come to my Visual Studio again is I'll just change the stuff from here. So once I click here, I will go and pick the environment. So you can see the TensorFlow, that's the TF conda. If TF was the environment I was working on, I'll just pick that. If I had another one maybe for Tkinter, and that's one I wanted to work on, I'll just pick that. If I had another one for, so that's just the thing. It makes your life easy so that all you need to do is just to change the environment, and then you don't have to, start keep installing anything at all. So
thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so do you still have time? It's 2:30.
Yeah, it's 2:30, but I think we can take one or two.
Okay, so like starting from that, from Tkinter import star. I was even going to ask before that because I saw it this morning, and I think instead of having to write import button frame, isn't it just easier to use star?
Well, you can, but again, when you use import star, what it does is that it brings everything, including what you don't need. And it will make if your system is not very strong, it will just keep making the refresh very slow. If you want to, like now, if I just want to execute this, I can just click on this and click on run. You can see it will pop up. But if I had everything import star and I didn't have a very strong system, it will take some time to get this thing to even come up.
CPU power.
Yes.
Okay, and for menu and button, I mean, are they case sensitive? Like,
Yes, they are.
Like your menu buying.
Yeah.
Sensitive.
Like this class.
Menu.
These classes are yes, they always have to be in caps. You would notice because if you're trying to, let's say I'm trying to create a new menu or something. If I say menu bar 2 is equal to, if I type it small, you will notice that it's just because VS Code is a bit more very proactive. There are some IDEs that will not give you this capital option, like Spider. Spider will not bring out this capital menu for you. Jupyter Notebook will not even bring out.
Jupyter, so that's why I was.
Jupyter 2 will not bring it out for you. So if you're using Jupyter, you have to know at least the first letter, whether it's case sensitive or not. So by using Jupyter, you have to know that, okay, menu always has to be capital. That's the only time Jupyter will bring it out for you, or Spider will bring it out for you.
Okay, and as regards the toolbar, you were saying something like the toolbar, you can't create it like the file or the edit menu. I don't know if I'm the one that did not get you right.
And no, what I'm saying is
I was just thinking that if you created.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I was just thinking that if you created the toolbar the way you created the other ones, and you have like the print as like a cascade of some sorts, then you can still define.
Okay.
You can still like create that print preview.
Okay.
Or am I getting?
Yes, the only challenge with that is this. For us to create a cascade, it means that that thing we want to cascade is a menu. All right. And if you look at the app that we were trying to build, let me just get that app out. We do not want print to be a menu. We want it to be like, we want it to be like on the taskbar. So you have the print icon here. You have open folder icon, all those other icons that you normally see, including save, the disk, the floppy disk icon. So if we had wanted this to be a menu, we'll now have to create a cascade and all of that. But for this one, we cannot create a cascade for this because we have already told Python that this is not a menu. And that's why we use the, what do you call it now? The frame. And
Okay,
why I was saying that is sad is because Tkinter, just like they created frame here, button here, and all of that menu, Tkinter did not bother to create a class for toolbar. They just believe that everybody should be able to use the frame to find their way around what a toolbar is. And they're not wrong, really, or it would have just been nice. So maybe with Python 3.10, they probably might have added a toolbar, you know, as one of the classes that ship native with Tkinter. But I'll just look at that much later and see whether that's the truth.
okay, and the pad X and pad Y, they are like increasing the X and Y axis, right?
Yes, just, okay, let me remove the pattern so that you can see what it does. Let me make it like 10 and make this pattern like 10. And then let's run it. So do you see what it does? It's increasing the pattern around the, what do you call it now? Yeah. So you can see that there's a bigger pattern around the bottom here, the icon. So that's what this pattern does, just to create some space in the frame.
Okay, and just to clarify something you said last week about the UI UX designer, you know, you had something last week where you had like for that converter stuff on your PowerPoint, the first slide, you had like this design you did rough sketch with your hand.
Yes.
Is it that the UX guy first does that and gives
yes. In fact, that's the starting point of the UX. No good UX designer just jumps to the laptop, never. There must be some sketches. So it is from the sketches that they now get to start making all those amendments. In fact, it's a sketch that you said.
You do your own first. Do we program first before you send to them?
No. It's the UX designer that will do their own and send to you. There's this app, maybe later, if we have time, maybe 3 months down the line or so. There's an app called Figma. In those Udemy free courses that I normally put, I always try to find out Figma courses so that I can put it there. So if you have been checking them, you probably would have seen 1 or 2 free courses on Figma. Figma is like the mother of all the UI, UX app design frameworks. So what that does, it helps you create wireframes for amazing apps. In fact, it gives you ideas of what your app should look like, the button and everything. So when you finish and you download that mockup that you get from Figma, you send it to the project manager or the head of software. He looks at it, says, okay, we can implement this. So where the person puts a box, you already know what code you should use so that, you know, yeah. So that's what happens. But the flow is that the UI person must come up with their mockup first before the software designer writes the first line of code.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's all.
Okay, we have our mommy in the house again. Ngozi. She has just been silent observer, very, very silent observer. So great to have you around.
Thank you for having me. Very, very interesting session. I've enjoyed it, and I hope Anu and Aziz, I hope you found it as helpful as it was.
Yes, thank you. We are really gaining a lot from this.
Yeah, he's giving a lot of value. Thank you so much, Ugo. That was really good. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Thank you. Okay, so everyone, I'll see you guys at 3 p.m. Nigerian time for the special session with so let me just quickly share the link on the integrated family chat and then make some 1 or 2 adjustments here and there because we're not using Google Meet, we're using Zoom, right? So I even need to free up the Zoom account. This is what we're using. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.